It's no mystery that Alyssa Milano doesn't like guns and thinks that we would be better off without them. She did have a mini Twitter exchange with Ted Cruz, wondering how gun rights are God-given. After Matt Schaefer wrote, "I am not going to use the evil acts of a handful of people to diminish the God-given rights of my fellow Texans, period. None of these so-called gun control solutions will work to stop a person with evil intent." So Alyssa responded, "Can someone cite which passage of the Bible God states it is a God-given right to own a gun? This guy is unbelievable and is clearly owned by the gun lobby." So Cruz responds, "An excellent question, worth considering carefully without the snark of Twitter. It is, of course, not the right to a modern-day firearm that is God-given, but rather the right to life and the right to liberty. Essential to that right is the right to defend your life and your family. Because weapons have existed forever, you use weapons to defend yourself and your family. So when guns were introduced, that was just another weapon." He continues to say, "The right to self-defense is recognized repeatedly in the Bible. For example, one verse is Exodus 22:2. If a thief is caught breaking in at night and is struck a fatal blow, the defender is not guilty of bloodshed." He goes on to further say that the Declaration of Independence acknowledges our rights thusly. "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And for that reason, the Second Amendment provides the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It wasn't to protect people's ability to hunt or to shoot target practice, but to defend their lives, their homes, and their families." And he continues to give an example of Stephen Wilford, who risked his own life to stop the Sutherland Springs murderer, saving countless others as a result. So then Alyssa Milano says, "I'd love to come in and meet with you on the gun issue and many other issues that include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And also 1 Peter 4:8. I'll be in DC next week. We can live stream the meeting so the American people can hear your BS firsthand." Very classy, Alyssa. Very classy. Let's take a look at what went on.
I have to believe in my heart that you know it is not okay for babies to have shrapnel in their chest.
It's horrifying.
I know it.
It is horrifying.
I know it. Or a 14-year-old girl dying.
Her concern is quite touching on the topic of guns killing people, rather than people killing people, since she is for abortion, and considers it an assault against women's bodies if it's not allowed. The Charmed alum said she made a difficult decision to terminate her pregnancy because she wasn't equipped to be a mother. And note, 2 of these little ones were aborted by her. So she wasn't equipped to be a mother. She said, "I chose to have an abortion." Let's rephrase. "I chose to kill my children." But wait, she emphasizes, "I chose." It was my choice. And it was absolutely the right choice for me, she said. It was not an easy choice. It was not something I wanted, but it was something I needed, like most healthcare is. Well, no. Healthcare is about caring for health. I also did a video about this. It's very graphic, so it's age restricted, but I did provide the link in the description box.
I have to know that you are not the villain. And when you said that she was not an anomaly, the mass shootings using assault weapons is also not an anomaly.
Not anymore.
I'm going to explain something about using the term assault weapons because she is misusing it, and it's completely misrepresented, not only by her but by the media. So stay tuned.
And it's happening far too often. And you have your. I just want to read you something.
Okay, sure.
I do not believe in taking away the right of the citizen for sporting, for hunting, and so forth, or for home defense. But I do believe that a machine gun, an AK-47, is not a sporting weapon or needed for defense of a home. Ronald Reagan.
Mm-hmm. But Alyssa, as you know, but this is actually that's actually a great point. I think one that's important for people watching this to understand. Machine guns are functionally illegal right now. Mm-hmm. And my wife Heidi is a native Californian. She grew up in the Central Coast. Beautiful there. We have a lot of family in California. I remember a few years ago she asked me, do people really need machine guns everywhere? It's a reasonable question. One of the problems of this debate is, and this is true of a lot of the media covering it, it's true of some of the folks following it, is that the terminology, they don't necessarily understand what it is. So a machine gun has been functionally illegal for 80 years. You and I and ordinary citizens can't purchase a machine gun. Now a machine gun, which is what Ronald Reagan is talking about there, as you know, you hold the trigger down, multiple bullets come out. That is different from what's called a semi-automatic weapon, which is you pull the trigger once, one bullet comes out. You pull it a second time, another bullet comes out. So it takes a separate trigger pull for each bullet. And that's different from like a revolver, which you have to cock it and then, like the old Western six-shooters. When the media covers it, I think a lot of people hear the word assault rifle and they think it is a machine gun. And so there is misunderstanding among people who are not. I know you guys understand the difference, but many in the media don't, and you see it misreported where they don't understand.
Here's the thing: is that we have a serious problem, and none of the politicizing of the solution is going to help, and none of the rhetoric around the guns, the Second Amendment, is going to help the root of this problem, right? Which is people are dying, children are dying. We're in a country that's very fearful. We have to try everything and figure out what works. Isn't that worth it? Isn't it worth it?
So
Speaking of children dying, isn't this worth it? Isn't this worth it?
Isn't it worth it? Can't we?
Yes, we should do everything we can to stop violent crime, but there is a flip side to this, and it's a flip side that I'm very concerned with, which is that guns are also used to stop crimes. And so...
But who's stopping that? That's where you lose me.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can't. How is a security guard what do security guards carry?
Let me carry. If they carry anything, carry up to like a 9mm pistol.
Going to stop someone with an AR-15.
So
How is a security guard with a 9mm going to stop someone with an AR-15? I want to say I can't believe she asked that question, but I believe she asked that question. So I'm going to tell you exactly how you stop someone with an AR-15 when you have a 9mm. You ready? Very quickly.
Make it fast, Slippery. This is your last draw.
it's not just security guards. This past week in Houston, a 28-year-old African-American woman was coming home, and a group of men came seeking to assault her and surrounded her. She had a pistol in her purse and she pulled it out.
We don't want to take away.
Fired.
She was a legal lawful gun owner, right?
Yes, and
Yes, that's it.
but
We don't want to stop her.
We don't want to stop her. But Alyssa, I thought you did, which is the reason for your visit.
But that fireman, by the way, I'll say, look, it is a powerful equalizer. I guarantee you that group of guys who came to assault her, if you gave them a choice between confronting a big guy, an NFL linebacker without a gun, or a woman with a firearm, one of the great reasons why a lot of women want to be able to keep and bear arms is to defend themselves in a case of physical danger.
I understand.
Okay, so putting that segment behind us, the Washington Hunter Education course is a great place to learn anything about guns. Whether or not you're a hunter, it's still a good site to check out some facts about guns. And though I don't use Quora as a source for anything, especially not Wikipedia, but I don't use Quora, I did find a response from a U.S. Navy chief about what's what with a gun. So in order to understand why it was improper for Alyssa to use the term assault weapon, or for anyone to even use the term assault rifle, let's just check out the makings of a gun, or rifle. First you have manual load weapons, single shot rifles, and shotguns. The actions with these weapons are bolt. Bolt on the side to open the chamber, extract the spent round, and to reload. Lever action, lever on the bottom usually to open the chamber, extract, and reload. Pump action, usually shotguns, and break hinge, where the weapon, usually a shotgun, will open on a hinge to extract and reload directly into the chamber. So the pump action is where you move the bottom of the shotgun back and forth, and the break hinge is the one where it looks like you're snapping a shotgun in half. It's considered manual because the bearer, or person, has to manually move something in order to extract the spent round and reload another round into the chamber. Then to fire, the bearer, or person, has to do another action of pulling the trigger. So you load, pull the trigger, load, pull the trigger. Semi-automatic weapons remove one of the steps mentioned above. It uses the explosive discharge of the round to extract the spent round and then move another round into the chamber. It still requires the bearer to pull the trigger in order to fire again, but this time you're not constantly reloading. Now to the automatic. An automatic will reload itself like a semi-automatic until the ammo runs out. But the difference is the automatic will continuously fire as long as the trigger is held back. With the semi, or semi if you prefer, it will only fire one round with the trigger pull. In order to fire another round with a semi, or semi, the trigger has to be released to allow the sear to reset. These are all full automatic. These are not semi-automatics or semi-automatics, whichever you prefer. Oh, and look, an AK-47. Because Alyssa Milano and the media and other people keep thinking that citizens of the US are roaming around with AK-47s. I mean the real AK-47s. And here's where terminology matters. An assault rifle is a rapid-fire, magazine-fed automatic rifle designed for infantry use. Automatic rifles are not sold and cannot be made in the US. Unless you've got some heavy connections on the black market and deep pockets, no way you're getting your hands on one of these. It's made for military use. But let's back it up a little more. The word assault means to make a physical attack on. Although at this point any rifle can be an assault rifle, the term specifically, together, assault rifle, is used to describe automatic weapons. Full automatic. And now we go back to Alyssa Milano's term of assault weapons. In 2012, when a young white man, and of course she had to put that it was white, as if that mattered, killed 20 babies and 6 of their teachers, both parties failed. Democrats and Republicans together in the Senate killed both an assault weapons ban and a universal background check law. An assault weapon is not really a thing, because if we're going to be realistic and logical, anything can be an assault weapon. My fist can be an assault weapon. And now to the AK-47, the Avtomat Kalashnikova, created in the Soviet Union by Mikhail Kalashnikov around 1945. This is a full automatic, not sold in the US, not allowed, not even made. However, when someone talks about someone owning an AK-47, it's not an actual original AK-47. Any AK-47 that is seen on the market here in the US is a semi-automatic. It's just a variant of the AK-47. Enter the media. Look how this was worded. Man accused of using AK-47 to carjack woman in Southwest Houston. However, it's misleading because in the article it says, police say Grayson, 27, brandished an AK-47 when he approached, but continue to say he is a member of the Bloods gang and is being held without bond in Harris County. Police found an RMC Draco AK-47 style pistol. That's not a real AK-47. So the media really knows how to play it up and then put fear into the minds of people like Alyssa Milano who take it literally. And notice how it also says that Grayson was charged with aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon. But you guys want to know what else is deadly? A car. How many times has it been on the news in the past few years that terrorists in other countries have been mowing down people in cars and trucks and vans? I mean, this weapon packs a deadly punch. And this, Wusthof knives. You get a 9-piece block set, different sizes to attack different kinds of people. You get a selection to choose from, and I bet these knives are forged. And the bonus is that they're 41% off. And this, next year's edition of a Louisville Slugger, coming in at $499.95. Almost as expensive as a handgun on sale. And they even had the courtesy to make it blue, so that when you beat the life out of someone, the color red would show up nicely on the foreground. So considerate. Unfortunately, it's not on sale. And then of course we're going old school. The rock. Because when you run out of blunt objects to hit people with, you can just stone someone to death. And the best part? It's free. I did a video on this, using FBI stats, that the media will never tell you that guns actually help save people's lives more than they kill people. And in fact, every year people die more by blunt objects than they do guns. But you're not going to hear that. So check out that video. I have the link in the description box as well. And don't allow yourselves to be lied to. And on a brighter note, she ends with, I know he didn't change his mind on how we fix gun violence in America, and he didn't change ours, but maybe we understand one another a little better. Milano added, here's what I came away with that I wasn't so sure of before. Like when she said that she wanted to hear his BS. And now she changes her tune. Ted Cruz is a human being. He is a real person. He isn't a villain in a movie. He cares when these shootings happen. When people on my side of this fight say he doesn't, they're wrong. Well, yeah, that's right, because people who are for guns don't have the intent of going out and shooting people randomly. They have the intent of protecting themselves. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos. Make sure your notification bell is turned on so you can get updates for new videos and answers to your comments.
Educate yourself!